So I was just watching this speech or seminar type of a thing, a conversation that Simon Sinek gave on why leadership matters at the Human Capital Leadership Institute, and some of the things that he said, I don't think I quite agree with them. So the premise that he starts off with is that leadership in contemporary times is basically an extension of hierarchical hierarchical chains that humans were a part of in the tribal times, in the Stone Age, and in so up till 12,000 years from now in the past, before that we were living in tribes of a maximum of 150. That's the Dunbar number, and everything in the tribe would happen according to this hierarchical thing where the alpha hunts first but eats last, but in doing so he's guaranteed a meal and a mate. And Simon Sinek sort of argues that that's the same thing that we see in today's day and age. My contention is that a lot of this, and I'm not talking about Simon Sinek particularly, but in general, a lot of this is moralization, that we've just evolved to be this way, and every structure, every organization that exists in today's day and age is just a natural extension of that, and not just natural, but a morally right, morally correct, morally appropriate extension of what we had in the Stone Age, and what we had in the structures that we had when we were living as parts of tribes. My contention is that if we go deeper, my contention is that CEO pays, the salaries of CEOs are described to be, accurate, are described to be deserved, because the system chose it. So and because the system is just a natural extension of what was before, it's the CEO deserves to have that pay. My problem with that statement is that CEO pay has exploded. If you compare the CEO salary to an employee's salary, to a junior employee's salary, that has the ratio has exploded exponentially in the last 40 to 50 years, whereas the responsibilities have only increased linearly, or even, in some cases, even decreased. So how do you make that jump that the CEO deserves it? And the new generation, Gen Z, and even Millennials to a certain extent, they're just told that just because the system, it's appropriate because the system rewards people in this particular way, that the CEOs get the lion's share of the pay because the board said that this particular CEO has improved shareholder value as compared to the employees, and the employees are seen as like robotic agents rather than robotic agents just doing repeatable things that are reproducible at scale, and hence they don't get the share that the CEO might be getting. Let me see what else. And so it's an unfalsifiable negativity loop. Like, when is it morally appropriate to question the system? Because you've clearly made it morally and practically inappropriate to question structures within the system. Like Simon Sinek also said in the same speech that the most prevalent trait in leaders that he's found, that he's interviewed, that he's talked to, is courage. But do they have the courage to answer questions like, why has the CEO to employee salary ratio has become non-linearly bigger and bigger despite responsibilities scaling only linearly? And with the information age and the computer age, responsibilities have even decreased. And so in the Stone Age, the argument that would be given for the perks that the alpha gets is that you are guaranteed a meal and a mate, but we expect you to run to a danger and protect the tribe from danger if danger arrives, if danger knocks on your door. But in today's day and age, you see companies protecting shareholders and dumping maximum risk onto individual employees, especially those at the bottom levels, bottom rungs of it. And there were so many layoffs in between 2020 and 2025, probably unprecedented levels of layoff that we never saw in history before. And that was done to maximize shareholder value and to improve the efficiency within the company. But I don't think we saw as many replacements of CEOs entering, that you're not able to protect the tribe, so now we'll kick you out and bring someone else in. That just didn't happen on a global scale. And so my ultimate point being that instead of moralizing the system, saying that's the only way that the world works and we're not really interested in changing the system, I think that's like a really dangerous position to take. Instead of saying, oh, okay, just system is just set up that way. And the go-to sort of advice has always been to compromise on an individual level to fit with the system rather than to rebel against it. I think that's a very dangerous thing to do, because self-organization demands that organizations also self-adapt to the new intake. It cannot be a learning organization, as Peter Senge puts it, cannot exist in a vacuum of any personal changes or personal accountability. There needs to be accountability on the system's part, on the structures that the system has survived on. So once it starts doing that, it will, by the Stafford beer proverb that the purpose of a system is what it does, it will start embodying the true sorts of ideals of a learning organization.